My son banned me from his wedding, then sent me a $226,000 bill. To pay for everything, he wrote, "We appreciate your support of our special day." I just smiled and watched it all fall apart. The email arrived at 2:17 a.m. I was awake. I've learned that sleep is a privilege reserved for people with clear consciences. The subject line was polite. Final invoice with gratitude. I almost didn't open it. Almost, but curiosity has always been my weakness. And my weapon. The document loaded slowly, page after page. Venues, catering, jewelry, designer clothing, imported flowers. A wedding. My son's wedding. At the very bottom, bold and unapologetic, $226,000. And beneath it, a message. "We appreciate your support of our special day." I read it twice, then a third time. My name wasn't there. No greeting, no acknowledgement. Just expectation. I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence settle into my bones. He had banned me from attending. 2 months ago. No explanation, no fight, just a message. It's better this way. And now this. A bill, not a request, a demand disguised as gratitude. I didn't feel anger. That would have been too easy. Instead, I smiled. Slowly. Because something inside me, something old, patient, and very, very precise, finally understood. This wasn't about a wedding. This was about erasing me. And he had no idea. I had already started erasing him first. It didn't happen overnight. Nothing like this ever does. It begins with small absences, missed calls, short replies, conversations that feel rehearsed. My son used to talk to me about everything. Business decisions, relationships, doubts, especially doubts. But 6 months ago, something shifted. He stopped asking questions and started making decisions. Without me. I noticed it the first time he avoided mentioning her name, his fiancée, a woman I had only met twice. Both times she smiled too perfectly, too controlled, like someone who studies reactions more than she feels them. I remember the way she looked at me. Not with warmth. With calculation, as if measuring, as if deciding something. After that, my son began correcting me. Subtle at first, then sharper. "You don't understand how things work anymore. You're too controlling. You've always been like this." Words that didn't sound like his. Not really. They sounded placed, like seeds planted carefully in soil that used to trust me. Then came the message. No call, no conversation. Just a cold sentence. "We think it's best if you don't attend the wedding." We, not I. We, that was when I stopped feeling like a father and started feeling like an obstacle. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I simply replied, "Understood." And from that moment on, I started watching, listening, collecting. Because betrayal doesn't scream, it whispers. And I've always been very good at listening. People assume revenge begins with anger. It doesn't. It begins with clarity. I didn't confront him. I didn't call. Instead, I opened old files, accounts, contracts, ownership records, because my son believed something very dangerous. He believed everything he had and was his. It wasn't. Not really. I built everything from nothing. Every company, every asset, every connection. And while I taught him how to grow it, I never taught him how fragile it all truly was, especially when it wasn't legally his. I began with the simplest step, access. I still had it to everything. Joint accounts, shared investments, corporate structures he never fully understood. He trusted signatures more than knowledge. A mistake, a very expensive mistake. Then I moved to observation. His spending had increased, rapidly. Lavish deposits, payments to vendors, large transfers from accounts he didn't technically own. I recognized the pattern immediately. Not just a wedding, a performance, something designed to prove status. To someone, or perhaps to escape something. I dug deeper. Phone records were easy. People underestimate how much data they leave behind. There were calls, frequent ones, not to his fiancée, to someone else, a number registered under a corporate alias. Interesting. Very interesting. Then came the final piece. A private investigator I had trusted for years. Quiet, efficient, invisible. He delivered the report without questions. I read it alone, in silence. Every line tightening something inside me. Not rage, not grief. Something colder. Something surgical. Because the truth wasn't just betrayal. It was manipulation. Layered, calculated. And my son wasn't the architect. He was the investment. I met him 3 days before the wedding. He looked different, confident. Sharp suit, Expensive watch, eyes that no longer searched for my approval, only validation, from somewhere else. We sat across from each other. A quiet restaurant, neutral ground. He didn't smile. Neither did I. I assume you got the invoice, he said. Straight to the point. Good. I placed a folder on the table. Slowly, carefully. I did, I replied. He leaned back, waiting, expecting resistance, maybe even anger. Instead, I slid the folder toward him. He hesitated, then opened it. The first page was simple. Financial records, ownership structures, signatures. His name, absent where it mattered most. The second page, transaction reversals, account freezes, legal notices. The third page, photographs, his fiancée, and the man behind the corporate alias. Not strangers, not business partners, something far more intimate. His fingers tightened. His breathing shifted. But I said nothing. I just watched, because truth doesn't need narration. It speaks perfectly well on its own. She said, he started, voice cracking. I raised a hand. Gently. No, I said. One word, enough. His world wasn't collapsing. It was rearranging into something real. For the first time, I've already paid the invoice, I said. His head snapped up. Hope, desperate, immediate, almost childlike. For a moment, I saw the boy he used to be. Then I took it away. But not for your wedding. Silence, heavy, precise. I paid it to reclaim what was never yours to spend. I leaned forward slightly. Not aggressive, just final. Every vendor has been notified. Every contract reviewed. Every payment source traced. His lips parted. No words came, because there were none left. The venue? I continued calmly. Cancelled. The catering? Withdrawn. The jewelry? Recovered. I paused, letting it settle. The accounts you used, I added softly, no longer exist. He stared at me. Not with anger, not yet. With realization. Slow, painful, irreversible. And her? He whispered. That was the only question that mattered. I stood up, adjusted my coat. She was never yours, I said. And now, neither is anything else. I left money on the table. Enough for my coffee. Nothing more. I didn't attend the wedding. There was no wedding to attend. It unraveled quietly, like all well-designed illusions do. Vendors pulled out. Guests received apologies. Excuses were made. But the truth spread faster than any lie could contain. I heard fragments, whispers. She disappeared. Of course she did. People like her don't stay when the investment collapses. And my son, he called. Once, then again. I didn't answer. Not out of anger, but because there was nothing left to say. He had chosen his reality. I had simply corrected it. Weeks passed. Then months. Silence became permanent, peaceful, clean. Because love, I've learned, is not unconditional. It is earned, protected, and sometimes withdrawn. I look at the empty space he once filled, and I feel nothing. No regret, no sorrow, only clarity. Because in the end, I didn't destroy his wedding. I just removed the illusion that I ever owed him anything at all.